has Battlefield 2042 finally redeemed itself? Let's take a look. Hi, I'm Scott, and if you've been living under a rock or you simply don't care about Battlefield 2042 anymore, there was a major update called the 4.0 patch. This did get released on Tuesday, but I'm a little late to the party. This update has fixed a ton of bugs, and there's been some slight balance changes, as well as finally bringing voice communication in-game and being able to display the scoreboard at the end of the round. Incredible, right? Not only this, but they've had changes to weapon attachments and some specialist changes as well. Overall, I didn't notice any major performance changes, but I am not playing on PC. I have been playing on PS5, and for me that was fine on launch, but I know a lot of PC players were having problems with optimization. From what I've heard, that seems to be much better, and mouse input lag seems to be severely reduced, which is good news for PC players. They have reduced the amount of vehicle spawns per team, which is great news for those of us that felt overwhelmed by the amount of them on the map. This for me was crazy, and I've not played Battlefield for months to be fair, but playing it, it just felt like those vehicles, tanks, choppers, absolutely everything, everywhere, and you couldn't escape them. It does feel much better now, but obviously there's still some around and chance to get them, just much less of them. Finally, they allowed for UI customization, which for me is one of the best parts of the update. The UI felt very, very cluttered, and now you can scale things down and turn things off. I scaled all mine to 80% and it just felt much better. I felt I could actually see what was going on, and I could actually see my screen better without getting distracted by all the UI elements, and it was much, much nicer. Obviously, I presume if you scale some of these to 0, it'll just turn them off completely. Weapon selection has also been improved in terms of the UI, and you can also see what weapons your teammates are using as well. A nice little touch, and honestly it makes the choosing your class type thing a little less confusing and a little less annoying to kind of get around. The weapon attachments actually feel like they're changing your weapon now, as that got changed in the update as well. Now when you actually change your attachments, it does feel as though it's affecting the weapon as it should. Recoil patterns feel different, the range and drop off feels different, and it actually kind of changes the gun, unlike it used to, where you'd change something and you'd question what's actually happened. Has it done anything except changing the look of the gun? So they actually work now. You've probably heard about the amount of AI that's been put into lobbies because they're simply not filling up because there's not a big enough player base. As a console player, I had crossplay off because I didn't want to get involved with PC players and potentially hackers. However, if you are a console player, expect a long waiting time with the chance of potentially not even getting into lobbies, and lobbies full of bots. I queued up for some 64-player Conquest and some 64-player Breakthrough and just couldn't find a match. I then went into a normal Breakthrough and had a full lobby of bots. I'm not even kidding you, my whole team and the enemy team was just bots. As soon as I turned crossplay on, however, I had no problem finding a lobby, actually managed to get rezzed by a DICE dev, which was kinda nice, and unfortunately someone said, report this guy, he's invisible. Not a great start to the crossplay experience. There was a lack of portal lobbies for me too, but this was before I turned crossplay on, so I'm not sure if it's any better, but on console the list was very, very small and no one was playing them. Unfortunately, there have been no map changes. Some of these spawns were quite poor in some cases for me. I was literally spawning on top of enemies, which wasn't ideal. Even if I was on our own flag, there was just an enemy there. I know, I guess the flag hasn't taken over, but surely there was a bit of distance they could have placed me away. None of the maps have changed, however, and that's still coming in a future update with hopefully some new content as well, such as extra maps and weapons, which everyone's banking on season 1 and they're really, really hoping for. In the time I did play, which is probably around 2 or 3 hours, I did have some nice Battlefield experiences, but just not the one we all kind of want and know. The lack of destruction, it does get a bit of a pain, and just wandering around the huge maps with no real close quarter combat is a bit boring. The best times I had was when I actually ran into a bunch of enemies and was either sniping them off or managing to get in there with my AR, which a lot of the times the maps just don't provide. But like I said, that hopefully will be getting fixed, and hopefully with some new maps that could solve the issue as well. We just want some more close quarter action and some more chance of actually finding some enemies without traversing the map for 5 minutes. Although this update has been absolutely huge and it's definitely a step in the right direction, it's probably the game we should have had on launch, and the game that we deserved on launch at least. By now, obviously, there would normally be content, but unfortunately they've just been fixing all the issues. If you're thinking of reinstalling it, I'd give it a go. Honestly, I quite enjoyed the few hours that I played, just for something different to all the battle royales and everything out there at the minute, because there's not much in the FPS world. It's definitely a step in the right direction, and hopefully DICE can improve it further in future updates. Unfortunately, I have no other Battlefield videos you can go check out, so if you want to check out more content, click on the screen now for the most recommended video, or check out my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.